Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Onslow County where a man is now facing charges after a shooting investigation. 53-year-old Tamel Washington was arrested Saturday by Jacksonville police. Jacksonville police say they were called to 148 Bryn Mawr Road, which is where the Montford Point Marines Association is located, just before 2 a.m. Saturday morning for reports of a shooting. Now, when officers arrived, they found one person with gunshot wounds. Police were also notified that another person was taken to the hospital with injuries from a stabbing. Warrants say that Washington was involved in a fist fight when he pulled out a gun during the fight and shot a person. Washington was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, inflicting serious injury, discharging a firearm in city limits, disorderly conduct, and possession of a firearm by a felon. He was taken to Onslow County Jail without bond. Washington is expected in Onslow Court this morning. Now we also have news of a trespassing arrest in Lenoir County. Kinston police say they were called to a trespassing complaint in the 800 block of East Washington Avenue on Friday. Now, when officers got to the scene, they made contact with Shavondra Connor, who had previously been banned from the property. Connor was arrested for trespassing. Officers searched Connor during her arrest, where they found her carrying a handgun and brass knuckles. As a result, Connor was additionally charged with carrying a concealed gun and carrying a concealed weapon. She was taken to the Lenoir County Jail, where she is currently being held under a $1,500 bond. And of course, we want to highlight the ongoing protests in Iran that have claimed dozens of lives, and the body count continues to climb. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Tehran.
Amid a deadly crackdown against anti-government protesters in Iran that human rights groups say has killed more than 500 people, President Trump overnight confirming he's weighing options for potential U.S. intervention and saying that Iran called to negotiate.
We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up, but we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting.
3 U.S. officials tell NBC News preliminary plans the president has been presented with range from potential strikes to other non-military action. Notably, the Pentagon has not yet moved major assets to the region to support possible military action. Iran is now warning that U.S. and Israeli military bases in the region could be considered legitimate targets if the U.S. launches a strike, and adding their response may not be limited to reacting after an attack.
If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before. They won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong.
Some Republican lawmakers urging President Trump to act,
embolden the protesters and scare the hell out of the regime,
while others warn of the risks of potential military action.
Sometimes it has the opposite effect. So when you bomb a country, then people tend to rally around their own flag.
The protests in Iran, initially touched off by an economic crisis, have evolved into one of the biggest challenges the regime has ever faced. Over the weekend, demonstrators in Los Angeles marching in solidarity were struck by a U-Haul truck. The FBI is now investigating. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, thank you very much, Alice, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast. Everything is looking cold and sunny outside. A classic January day. We are going to be warming up from today into tomorrow, but that doesn't help with this afternoon's air temps. Right now, we are looking at the upper 30s to low 40s throughout most of eastern North Carolina. It has been a chilly morning. Compared to where we were yesterday, most areas down between around 15 to 25 degrees colder than where we were, again, just 24 hours ago. If you've noticed the change, you're not the only one. Now, winds out of the northeast will continue to bring in that cold air for today. Wind speed certainly not very impressive, but it's not so much wind speed, it's wind direction and how long those winds blow out of that direction. Now, coming up later on tonight, note just how the cloud cover is going to try to rise up from the south. That is good news for those of you who like warmer weather, because that is the point where we will start to see winds shift again from the north to the south. And that's going to bring in more heat coming up for tomorrow. That and, of course, plentiful sunshine. There you see, again, eastern North Carolina staying nice and dry and cloud-free through your Tuesday. Something to look forward to. Plenty of sunshine for today and tomorrow. It's just tomorrow's sunshine is going to be a little bit more effective because it's going to have the benefit of a southwesterly wind to enhance those temperatures. But later on in the week, we have got a messy forecast heading our way. We've got several areas of low pressure that will all kind of converge on the southeastern United States at the same time. There you can again see 3 separate systems all bearing down on eastern North Carolina and really the entirety of the East Coast. This is again going to bring not only just rain showers to the forecast coming up Wednesday into Thursday, possibly even Friday and Saturday beyond that, but more importantly, air temperatures are going to take a massive hit. When you've got multiple low pressure systems and cold fronts moving through, each one will knock your air temperatures down. So after one passes, then another one shows up and it drops air temperatures down even further. So note your overnight lows. 27 degrees overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. We note again that it's going to be another cold start to your day tomorrow. But then we get into the upper 30s. Not bad, not bad. A little bit above our seasonal average. Then we drop down into the low 20s Thursday night into Friday morning. At this point, again, forecast continues to trend drier and drier for Friday, which means any opportunities for snow are quickly going away. The colder the air gets, the less moisture it has, and that makes it more difficult for snow to develop. So for right now, it does not look like we'll be seeing any snow coming in on Thursday, as air temperatures are going to be too warm by the time the moisture shows up. Now, Friday, we lose out on the cloud cover. We lose out on the precipitation, we'll call it, but we certainly don't lose out on the chill. 22-degree morning low to start your day on Friday. We'll see an afternoon temp only in the low 40s. From there, we will warm up on Saturday, but only to cool back down again on Sunday as another cold front rolls in. So last week's warmer than average conditions certainly gone this week. Hopefully everybody can get out and enjoy the sunshine while it is here. But if you're hoping for 60s and 70s, you're going to have to wait at least another few weeks before that happens again. Well, that's all we have time for today's 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a fantastic Monday.